Here's a quick look at the game I'm playing just now, Heat Death Survival Train. It's something of a mystery game. You wake up in a laboratory hooked up to a machine with wires. There's nobody around. You have no memory of who you are or how you got there. All you know is the frozen landscape and some train tracks. In what I guess you'd call the tutorial stage, you learn a little bit about the first place you're at. It seems like this is some kind of colony gone wrong, maybe. The people who were there were an official team with engineers and scientists and people like that. From accessing their mail, you get to see a little bit of what happened. They were clearing out. There was an evacuation order given. They've gone. You're on your own. You don't know if you were one of that team. Presumably not, because you've just been left hooked up to all these wires. Maybe life support. It's anyone's guess. Anyway, this is a cold, icy world with a train line. So in the initial part of the game, you're just exploring the base you find, the empty base, and you learn about storms. That's what we saw here. It was very dark when I started this recording because a storm was going across. The storm is now passing. So I have, in that early tutorial stage, built my train now, and I've travelled a few stations. You begin at station 73. You travel from station to station. Presumably at the end we're going to find out what happened to this evacuating team, because we're kind of following their trail, but there's no indication how much in the future this is. Like, is it just a week, or is it 100 years, or 1,000 years? There's no indication. All we've found so far is just empty train stations and the little community, like the little colony pod towns that have built up around the train stations. I'm inside a train station now, and here is my train, and this is really what I wanted to show off in this video, because this is the coolest thing, building a train. I'm still learning, pretty much my first game, and I haven't figured out how to paint. I've got an option. I've got an option to change colour. I feel like I should be able to change the walls, but I haven't. So at this point, they're just sort of solid steel. It's really cool how modular it is. Like, you get to set up where you want to have windows and where you want to put the walls. I've pretty much enclosed all of my railway platforms. In the initial stage of the game, a train is just 2 platforms, just the floor bit. And when I travelled from the outermost station, which was station 73, to 72, which was the next one, I was basically just standing on open board. But now, as the stations have gone on, this is station 70, as I said, so it's like 3 stations on, I've managed to build an entire train. So as I go along, I just need to scavenge materials, and I unlock new things. Anyway, I want to show off my train. So I decided to go with, I'm going to go back over here. And I hope I'm not swinging the cursor too fast. I'm really not very good at this. Here's my train. I decided to give myself like a double story at this point. It was just actually a high ceiling for a bit. I just thought it would look more train-like. It would probably look even more train-like if I'd put it at this end, but like I didn't. Didn't think of that. I was just giving myself plenty of vision so that when I stood in here I could sort of see up at the front, which I've changed now because I've unlocked the ability to put in upper floors, and I've done that. So anyway, I've got 2 carriages. In my second carriage, I hardly ever go in here because I've got the engines in here, and the rear engine emits radiation. So if I stay in there too long, I will suffer from radiation sickness. So all I've got in there is the 2 engines, and I've got a crate to put things in. So the bulk of my time is spent here. I've got 2 guns on this one now. This was the first gun, and I've now just built this gun up here, but I haven't had a chance to use it. Presumably I'm going to need it when I leave this station and move on again. So here's my door. I've got 2 doors. This is my driver's door, and I've got my 3 consoles here that I use to start and stop the train and to check my energy. And here's my weapons control. So I can look out the front of my train and see what's going on. I've just built this heater. I don't know how to use that yet, but I've got that heater there and I think it'll be handy. And all I've got back here is storage. I've ended up with a couple of little rooms here, which was unintentional, but I moved one from up there and then I haven't figured out how to scrap things. So instead of scrapping, I'm putting them here. This was going to be my storage space, and yeah, it's a bit messy, but I put things in here. I have my own inventory. This is what I'm carrying, and on this side is what's in storage. Material is a general, very useful thing, and you collect it. So a lot of these contain material. There's a few other things. Plants are quite useful. And in fact, before I move on, I probably need I don't know if I'm going to need it for anything else, so I'm keeping some in its raw form, but I have a feeling it's going to get harder as it goes along. Anyway, I had my doors opposite each other, but then I learned how to do a floor, so then I put in a floor and then I needed steps. So I've moved this door up here. So this is kind of like my driver's door. This is, I guess, what would just be the general passenger door to get in and out. And up here is an upstairs bit that, like, it just seems really cool, but I haven't found a purpose for it. But it might be fun to come up here and just look out. Anyway, I've put in inside lights on these two, and most recently I've put in outside lights, which I feel looks really amazing. I went through a tunnel to get here and lights would have been very handy. I've put peace on this side. I'm thinking of putting something else on the other, but given I put guns on the top, I kind of wanted to balance it out with something, well, something friendly. So it's the peace train going through this terrible place. So while I'm recording just this little bit, which isn't really an explanation of the game, just a brief look at this station, Station 70, which is clearly a big one, and I've mostly explored it. There's a locked room I haven't managed to get into. I had a few goes at it. I can see that you have to jump, but I don't have enough medical equipment, so I'm not going to risk that. Out here, I'm wearing a suit. Environment isn't all that good, so in my controls I have to keep an eye on suit power. That's stopping me from freezing to death. And I'm guessing that these are solar arrays being used to power the station. Every station has a very different layout, and it's a bit of a trick to find all the buildings sometimes and go into them and see what can be gleaned. The power is off, and I think if I could get into that other room I would be able to turn the power on and maybe gain a lot more benefit from this, but I can't figure it out, so I'm going to move on. You can go backwards and forwards. I might, maybe in a few more stations, I might have learned some new tricks and then I can come back and try again. Anyway, it's an amazing game. And I'm always worried when it starts going shadowed. There's no night in wherever this place is, so if the shadows do fall, that means it's a storm. The torch is still on. Let's turn it off. Walking on the snow slows me down. There are enemy drones and there are scavenger drones, which is what these are. The scavenger drones are fairly safe, but they'll pick up anything you drop really fast. This is the way I came in. Came across that bridge over there. Sometimes there's like huts and things up in the hills. I can't see any at the moment. But I'm going to move on soon to the next station. Just before I do that, I just want to check that I've got everything from here. There's little drones that collect this material, which is very handy to have. That's why I built the crates. It's just the raw material, but you need it to build just about anything. And I won't be able to get back up on this train line because I'm carrying too much to jump. Over encumbered, which is the way I play games. So I'm going to go through this door and put this stuff in my train and then just do a quick whiz through to the habitat room, and that will be all I'll do in this video. I am low on energy. I will need to consume an energy drink. Being over encumbered isn't good for energy. Right, I had a couple of empty ones here. That's not empty, but there's some room. Yep. That's probably fine. Okay, so a quick whiz through the... Wrong way. A quick whiz just through the inside of the building. I'm all right there. Which I've already explored. This is just to give a last look around at the game. We have advertising materials for what I presume is the colony that this game intends to create. So what we have is effectively office space over here, and when I first came in there were things to pick up, which I did. And then down here we will get to the residential area. And I think I've been everywhere. I think I've looked at all the buildings now. You can see the ice forming on the walls because the power's off. Getting dark because another storm has come over. They come really fast, practically without warning, and it's just a matter of sitting it out. This one looks like a very fast one. I've opened all the lockers and looked through them. So I guess I'll head back. I've spent so much time here now. I know the layout of this station quite well. There's my train from the top. Oh, have I... I left my door open. That'll be making it extra cold with the storm outside. So this is what the game is about. I will move on in a minute, see what I can do. See, because I've closed that door, I've closed us in with my fission reactor, and that's why that little pink cloud is flashing. That's radiation in the air. Something I need to watch out for, but not much I can do. It's better to have... It's better to keep the cold out, right? It's not a fast game. Like, there are fast bits, and some of the shooting is really good, but because of the storms and because I'm a cautious player, I suppose, I tend to sit these things out. I will move on. These are for crafting things. If I knew how, I would be able to make... I don't have the plants. I haven't found these plants. I've just managed to get a seed for this one, but I don't know how to use it yet. But these ones you can just pick. And what am I short on there? Material. If I get a material... can wait out the storm by giving myself an energy drink. Whoop. This is not enough plants yet. There's the train track winding on up into the hills. That's unknown territory. And it's interesting. It looks rather steep. We're moving up into the mountains. There must be a display somewhere that shows me the storms. There usually is, but honestly I haven't looked for it here. Maybe it's upstairs. But I don't think I need it. So I'm going to get my train in motion, unlock gate, just double check that I'm not leaving a battery behind in the chargers. I'll take this out, and maybe if I take it out... Whoops, what I do need to check is that the back doors are shut, properly shut. Yep, they're both shut. Turn engine on. Give that a second to, there we go, train is up. Let's move on. It's really slow to start off. Honestly, it's really slow through the whole thing. We're not a fast train, especially since I haven't really figured out how to use my fission engine. It's got the regular motor and the fission one. Whenever it gets a little bit dark, it worries me because I think, did I just come out into a storm? Take a look from up high. Ha. Oh gosh, yes. But I'm going to go down and do this bit from here. Doesn't need much driving unless there's an issue. I'm a little bit concerned that we're grounding to a halt. Oh dear. We can't do the hill. Turn the lights off and save power that way. I knew that hill would be a bit of an issue. It's the first time I've had to do that. Right, sorry, I've braked. Oh no, is that a storm? I just feel a great need to pick up these plants. I don't think it's a storm. It's just a cloud. Like if I take too long out here, a storm will come, and they are a bit hard. Although I've got my new heater. I don't quite know how to use that yet. I mean, I just click it on it, but I'm guessing it's going to use some of the train power, and I do want to be cautious about that. Don't know what that is. But I almost think it's time to slow down. I feel like I don't want to rush it because I want to be able to see what I'm passing. If there's anything to scavenge. Because it's so slow to walk back from the stations, it's much better to stop the train and pick it up as we go by. While balancing the need to get into a station before a serious storm comes. I can go a tiny bit faster than this. They're just rocks. Does seem to be getting dark. It could be shadow from the rocks, but it's suspicious. I don't know what we're going to find here. Can trains derail? Let's just slow down even more. We've got enemies. And I'm absolutely... It looks like that's an enemy. I haven't seen this before. Oh. I can't actually see what's shooting at me. Yeah, that one's shooting at me. Right. There's two more. Okay, I've taken out my enemies. So what's going on here? How come the train stopped? Look, I'm not much of a fighting person. I do like the aiming system in this though. It's simple. It's even simple enough for me to use when I figure out where the enemies are. And it's nice the way it's graded, like the difficulty. It just slowly gets harder and harder. Pretty much at the right pace for me. There's my beautiful train. What I'm going to do is just pop these in a... want to very quickly pop these in because something will come and take them from me. Okay. See if there's anything left. These are kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they yield something, sometimes they don't. But, you know, whatever you can get is worth getting. So it is important to make the most of these. Nothing found. Before a storm comes. Just being out here in the snow uses up energy, and if I pick up too much and become over encumbered, I can't actually step up onto the track again. So I need to work out a really fast system for that. So I don't know if that was all of it, but it's probably enough. Now let's drive on. Seems like a storm's approaching now. Definitely that's a storm. Yeesh. Must be worth trying my new heater. Ooh. That's pretty cool. I think storms must give radiation as well, because that often flashes if I'm out in a storm. Can't be safe, this, right? Going around a corner like this at speed in the ice. But I'm doing it anyway. What on earth is that? I won't look in a storm, but I might come back later for that. This is a long... Oh no! Okay. That was probably because of my heater. Turn off. Here we are. At a standstill in a hostile place in a storm. Waiting, waiting. I mean, it could be worse. That's a cool view of the back of the train. That's a window there. So I wonder what broke. I wonder if it was one of those modules. How much power does it need? Like, we're nearly at the top of this hill. After that, you could coast, right? I feel like I'd like it to have at least 100. Once it reaches 50, I'll turn it on. Yep, there's the storm passing away too. Okay. It's not going to get me far. Oh dear. But we reached the crest. That was it. It was the power it needed to get up the hill. I don't know if they're worth going and looking at. I haven't, but maybe in due season I'll figure out what I can do with them. Oh no. Oh no, we're all right. We're inching along. No, we're stopped. What we need to do is top that crest before it runs out. I don't think we're going to achieve it this time. We're going to get close, but we're not going to actually do it. Here we go, another halt. This is it though, right? Looks like it's a long downhill after this. Maybe I should explore. Oh no, we did it. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Just about out. There we go. We're out again. But this is the top, right? Yeah, so we'll just take a peek. That must be where I came from. So there you go, we're on this hill above it. Mustn't get too far from the train. I could lose the tracks, honestly. Would be all too easy to do. Anyway, there doesn't seem to be anything around the base of those pillars that's useful. What are we at? Yep, nearly at 100 now. Turn engine on. Engine is on. I would leave it here. There's kind of no new information here, but it sort of feels like leaving it halfway through the story if I don't actually arrive at the next station. So I need energy. Running out again. Oh no, that looks like a storm. Might not be. Might just be shadow. Right, the engine is off. Turn engine on. I don't know if this is using that fission engine or not. Like, I've got it back there, but I don't really know how to be sure whether it's working or not. There we go, we've come to another halt. Some kind of drone up there, I think. Well, fuel depleted. That's probably some of my issue. Okay. I believe. Right, that will help. Yep, look at that. That was the issue. So we are using the fission engines, which I never really knew for sure. Torch is on. Don't need that on now. And this should get us a bit further along the line. I'm hoping at some point, I hadn't seen these round things until now, they're a new architecture. I'm hoping to actually reach one and have a walk around and see what they look like up close. As they seem to have sort of antennas on them, but some of them look like they might have guns as well. Oh wow, that's quite a drop. I wonder if these trains can do what real ones do and speed up when it goes downhill. There'd be a lot of weight in this train. I can imagine that being a true disaster. And if I have to maintain that slow speed, does it take energy to use the brakes? I guess I'm going to find out. Like, I know there's no brakes, but, you know, you can just turn down the acceleration. That's almost the same thing. This has been the longest gap between stations yet. Beginning to wonder where it even is. Very pretty though. All that snow and stuff. Like, snow isn't really part of my world, so it's not something familiar. Snowscape to me is pretty much like moonscape. It's interesting and alien and kind of fascinating, but not very varied, is it? Snow is so uniformly white, and it makes everything around it uniformly white or uniformly wet dark grey. But that's not a real criticism. It is interesting and it looks really deadly, and I don't understand why places like Canada don't just get mass evacuated through winter, because it just seems too cold to actually survive. I have a great admiration for people who can handle it. But I am a person who would never go to Antarctica because, like, just too cold. But that said, it is really cool being in a train, looking out at it and thinking, like, I'm wearing my suit. I've got an environment suit on, so I'm not feeling this cold. Oh no. That was really sudden, and I don't see any rocks that could be casting that. Oh, I suppose there are a few. But no, look at those clouds move. This is a storm. Oh my gosh, how dark this is, and oh. It's very clear that radiation comes in storms. So here I am. Look at that. It must have been some kind of nuclear disaster that happened to this world. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, solar flares or something. Whatever it is, these radioactive storms have to have been a big part of the reason why all the colonists left, or all the colony setting up staff left. And here I am, on a mountainside in a radioactive storm with no idea how far it is to the next station. All I can do is sit it out and hope that I'm going to survive. This has been a long storm, and it has to be almost over, right? This is really, really, really dark. This would be a great place to have the headlights on, but I'm a bit scared to do it because I don't know what it's going to do to my energy. This radiation is doing terrible things to my health. I'm just watching all my vitals flash red and drop. I think this is the biggest storm I've been in yet. Very cold. Look at it on the outside of the windows. I'm cold. Okay, that's helped a little bit. Cool looking bridge. It'd be nice to see over the edge. Certainly not doing that in a storm. Oh goodness, we've gone right into a cell now. I wonder if there's any bit of this train that's safer than any other bit. I mean, maybe the back? Except that the fishing engine's back there. What's that? That's it. Station 69. It's here. We've made it. I wonder if the door's open and we can go straight in. No, door's shut. I'm going to have to find a way. Oh my gosh. Timing. Oh well, I guess we're doing that leg again. Anyway, that's an indication of what this game is about. It's kind of on the surface simple in design, but it's so atmospheric. The storms are great. The radiation felt a bit over the top at first, but I'm enjoying it now. The shooting works really well, and I have always been a scavenger. I guess that's the thing. I love trains and I'm a scavenger. So it's a great bunch of elements put together. Anyway, I've got to do the drive from station 70 to station 69 all over again. I'm not sure if I will put this one up on YouTube because I died. But if I did, thank you for watching.